obviously there's a lot of conversation nowadays about, the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship. And now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, right? So,
that's pain speaking, though.
Right.
Because most black women know they will never get a man. A black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right.
Because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have 2 daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that?
Dr. Umar, you are admitting that you know your daughter may not get a husband, but you're making it seem like the reason will be based on stats. The reason will be based on her. It's inward, not outward. And when it comes to black females, Dr. Umar believes that every problem and the reason for every issue is outward. It's like to him, there's no such thing as consequences. And whatever failed results they get, it has nothing to do with their personal choices. No personal accountability. Listen, I support Dr. Umar and his mission to build a school for black boys and black girls, but I don't agree with this message here. It's Dr. Umar Johnson speaking to the brothers of the Daily Wrap-Up crew. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click that notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men with with white women.
With all women. You should only be with the black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America, there's
somewhere else.
In Africa.
Absolutely.
So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like, if you feel like
tell sisters all the time go to Africa. So I know sisters who marry. I just spoke with her sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never get married,
I'll take sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think I think there's obviously plenty of black men,
yes,
black women. So
and what I also tell black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent,
right,
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to tell them.
Exactly.
Shout out to the Daily Wrap-Up crew, on point for sure. Once again, Dr. Umar is acknowledging that black women have an attitude problem, specifically with their mouths. He's saying he told them they can't talk to men in Africa the way they talk crazy to men in America. Dr. Umar, do you think that these black women who can't seem to keep a decent man will be going to Africa to try to find a man if they were already feminine and cooperative women? The problem they can't escape is their own rebellious attitude. That's why it would never work, because every man anywhere is turned off by that repulsive behavior.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that. And then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
See, he knows that black women are ending up with failed results because of their poor choices, but Dr. Umar is saying because she's not good at making decisions, black men must be held accountable. He's saying that black women are leading these households alone, but as a leader of the household, she can take credit when things go well, but when there's failure within her system that she's running, it's not her fault as the leader of her household. And I'm so sick of these excuses of mass incarceration. These people will really make it seem like every black man went to prison. Right now, 2 out of 3 black kids are being raised by their mama for 2 reasons. Number 1, because their mama didn't choose the right father. You have a lot of women out here making babies with strangers, people they barely know, out of wedlock, and they are not vetting the man they give access to, and they don't care about red flags. And or 2, they are not qualified for marriage and long-term commitment. Again, it's personal choices that you have to be accountable for personally.
See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need.
Of course, she's going to end up making a poor choice. Here's the truth. They got with him because that's what they wanted. They love D-boys and now scammers. They love chasing after athletes with $100 million contracts and 10 women. They love all of that. That's what they want. They love men that's going to let them run all over them. There are plenty of great options of men out here, but they overlook them. Those men are invisible to them simply because that's not who they want. They don't want Dr. Beavermouth Boyce Watkins until after they have no other choice with 3, 4, 5 kids in tow. And then they want to make him their personal janitor.
We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men.
Nah, Dr. Umar, your baby mama's got the right to be mad at you. He's trying to group all of this together. The community is not responsible for the kids that are made. It's the people who created them. And honestly, a lot of these women should be mad at themselves. It's their choice. They're the ones given all the power.
If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years?
No, she does not have the right to be angry with other people who have nothing to do with her circumstances.
And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough.
Yeah, Dr. Umar, but you told her that she couldn't go to Africa and raise her voice over there. It's not the responsibility of the next man to care why she's raising her voice. He doesn't have anything to do with what happened to her before. That's the main reason why men don't like women with baggage.
She had to become masculine to survive the molest, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
No, everybody doesn't have to pay for her trauma. Go get a psychologist. Go get therapy. Go and heal yourself. And that's not the reason why they're masculine. They're masculine because that's what they want to be. They want power. They're rebellious. They don't want to listen. They don't want to follow instructions. They don't want to follow a leader. They want to be the leader, but don't want any of the real responsibility. That's the real reason. They like the freedom of not having structure.
I understand that, but she needs to be
If we was
more
loving our
selective.
women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good
Can I ask you a
quality
question?
men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
Because 9 times out of 10, another woman just like her raised them.
You gotta ask her that.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I just don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand that the women who choose Pookie, they choose him because that's what they like. That's what they like. Nobody can make her be with him if that's not what she wanted.
I can hear that.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right? That still don't give me a right to disrespect her because she's still the queen of the community.
Shut your ass up, nigga.